Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you all are doing well. This is my first video of 2024, so happy new year wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you for clicking on today's video. I wanted to provide you guys with an update on how I am doing with moving on, and I think the term I used in my last video was breaking up with caffeine or something like that. I decided to stop drinking coffee in 2022, and it's almost been 2 full years. It's currently 2024, and I am wanting to give y'all an update. Overall, over the past almost 2 years, a lot has changed in my life. I became a mom in the summer of 2023, and yeah, I've just had a lot of changes in my life because motherhood is a huge shift, but overall I'm doing really well, and I have been able to maintain not drinking coffee. Like in the last video, I mentioned that I did a 30-day fast from coffee essentially with the intention of really moving on. And I felt that I was really freed from the shackles of coffee. And I will have it linked below, and it'll be up on the screen as well if you have not watched that video. If not, I would definitely recommend it because I go into detail about what got me into coffee and kind of like what my experience was like getting off of caffeine. And it was a really tough time, honestly. I think getting off of coffee and caffeine was one of the most challenging times in my life mentally. I didn't know how much I was addicted to caffeine. I honestly just thought that I loved the taste and the experience and the vibes, if you will. But once I stopped drinking caffeine, I realized very quickly that it wasn't just the taste that I loved. I liked the taste, not of coffee, but of cream and of sugar and caramel and flavoring. I actually didn't like the taste of coffee, but nonetheless, I realized I was an addict. I was having legit withdrawal symptoms, and it was very, very hard on me. My husband really had to support me. I was looking for every avenue to weasel my way out. I could not see my life without coffee, and it was just a really tough time. And I think for me, more so than needing a cup of coffee to get my day started or a cup of coffee to, you know, get out the bed, it was very much so a social thing for me. I loved being a part of the social group of caffeine drinkers. Or like, let's meet up and get coffee, or I'm at Target, let me grab a coffee, or I'm running errands, I want to drink, it's the weekend, I deserve this. So it was very much so intertwined in who I was as a person, how I lived my life socially. I think caffeine and coffee shops and the whole social lifestyle aspect of it was a big part of my identity. So yeah, I will have that link down below for y'all to check out kind of my journey at that point in 2022. But yeah, it was hard, but I broke free. And at the time of my last video, I had only been, I think, 2.5 weeks past that initial month. So now it's almost 2 years later, and y'all have asked for an update. And honestly, I have been doing really well. I have not had coffee at all since then, when I had filmed that video and I was talking about it. And it's interesting because I'll go places and I'll drive past all these different coffee shops that I used to go to, and instead of feeling like I'm missing out on something, now I drive by. Most of the time I don't even think twice, but if I do think something, I might think, wow, I remember I used to go there, or oh, I remember when I used to be in line, or this is a time of day that I would usually do that. I have completely detached from that part of myself. It's almost like I'm reminiscing about an old friend that I once had. So I'll just kind of reminisce. When I go places and there's coffee there, or I smell coffee, it's very nostalgic to me. So for instance, I went out to eat and one of the people at the table ordered coffee. I wasn't like, ooh, I want some, or I need some, but the smell is nostalgic. Similarly to how the smell of fresh cut grass brings me back to my childhood, the smell of sunscreens reminds me of the summers. The smell of coffee, it's still nostalgic to me, but it doesn't make me want it. So yeah, I have not had a cup of coffee or iced coffee in almost 2 years, which is crazy, but honestly, I'm not turning back. I just got too much freedom to really go back to drinking coffee. So I would say within this overall time frame, there were about 2 to 3 weeks where I was dabbling with drinking tea. And what I learned from that is that I don't even need the door to be slightly cracked. And if you've watched a lot of like videos like this, people always leave the door cracked or leave the door slightly open, whatever you want to call it. You know, they might say, I'm not drinking this for now, but who knows what the future holds. And I think for me, personally, as somebody who was addicted to caffeine, leaving that door open makes it easier to accept, but it's best to truly just walk away and close the door. If I were to go out to lunch at a Thai restaurant, I would get a Thai tea. Like that's as much as the caffeine I was really doing. Or maybe in another instance, I would want a matcha. But then it's graduated to wanting a London fog. And it just, I could see how much it started to progress from just wanting a Thai tea when I rarely went out for Thai food, to now wanting a matcha, to now wanting a tea latte. I could see the progression. And like I said, this was a battle for a couple of weeks where I was just having a hard time letting it go. I had not had caffeine, not been doing coffee, obviously the whole time. But then there was a time where a little period of time where tea started to become more accessible. It's something I could wrap my mind around. It started off like, oh, it's a chilly day. A hot black tea wouldn't be so bad. Or like I said, I'm going out to eat, I can have a Thai tea. And then once I realized it's just the more addicted mentality that I had was starting to creep back, always looking for an avenue to get what I want, to make it make sense, to find a way where I can get it and just weasel it back into my life. So that was interesting for me to see how you can go so long without something, and then just a little kind of avenue, a little pathway could open it up and make it something that you're now toying with and thinking about every single day. So I had to close the door on tea. And honestly, it's helped me so much because now I'm not sitting around thinking about it. And I could see how much that progressed in a matter of a couple of days, a week, 2 weeks. And I just had to cut it off and shut the door. It's not up for discussion. So now I'm still not doing coffee. I'm not doing tea. And I feel a lot more free. Like I'm not battling about it. I'm not thinking about it. I don't want it. A lot of times I drink water, or I just try to stay hydrated naturally. Like for example, right here, I just have a cup of like my lemonade flavored electrolytes just to hydrate myself. And honestly, I feel a lot better. I still feel like I'm reaping the positive benefits of getting off of caffeine, which is having better sleep, having more energy. I think it's also impacted me really great in regards to my hormones. Also, it's helped my anxiety. I think my anxiety was so much worse when I was always on caffeine. So I have so many countless benefits from getting off of that substance. So yeah, I just wanted to provide y'all with an update and let you guys know where I am, and I'm doing really well. I am very grateful that I was able to move on. I can't even fathom how much time I have saved, not constantly looking for drinks or making drinks or thinking about it. How much time I've saved just closing that chapter. Also, the amount of money. Like the types of things that I would get would be $6 here, $7 here. I'm always buying coffee cream at the store. I'm always, you know, wanting the new thing, and just so much energy going towards that. Like I can't even express to y'all how much more clear my mind is that I'm not even considering those things anymore. And I think in my last video, I mentioned how caffeine is like an appetite suppressant. So over the past 2 years, I've really had to like change my relationship with food and eat enough so that I'm being nourished and I'm able to, and I exercise more and all those different things. Like there's no hack when it comes to caffeine. So I definitely don't see any benefits of being on caffeine outweighing the benefits of being free and off of caffeine. I think for me, the hardest part has been when it's around fall time because that would have been my time where I'd have my caramel latte and I'd have candles burning and I'd just be out. I remember going to get a drink, going to shop for candles, shop for decor, and just that whole lifestyle. And if you watched like lifestyle content back in, I don't know, anytime between 2015 and maybe like 2020, I don't know, maybe even 2024, a lot of it was like shopping, drinking, consumerism, all that different stuff. Like, I'm telling you, one, I don't even burn candles in my house like that anymore because of the toxins, but my lifestyle changed for the better when I disassociated myself from this community that was ultimately wasting me money, making me feel bad, and just not worth it. And another thing I will mention is all the cream that I was used from the store, like your traditional coffee mate, it has so much oil in it, like artificial processed oils. And I think that really damaged my body for drinking that daily for over a decade. I think any health issues that I've had can be tied to drinking a couple shots of oil every day. So I would highly recommend, if you're considering it, if you've tried to break free and you haven't been able to, just know that it is possible. I was the sort of person that I didn't think I'd ever be able to get off of caffeine. I didn't think I'd be able to move on. I didn't know what my life would look like on the other side. I could not even imagine it. But now I'm here and life goes on and you adapt. You'd be surprised how adaptable you actually are. Despite what your mind may tell you, you are able to achieve far beyond what you imagine. And I'm thankful to God for encouraging me to persevere, to keep going. Like the Bible says, to let perseverance finish its work so you will be complete, lacking nothing. And on the other side of breaking free from a caffeine addiction, I can truly say that I'm lacking nothing. There's nothing that I'm lacking when it comes to leaving caffeine behind. Same goes for alcohol. Like, these are decisions that have made my mind more clear, made my decision making sharper. You know, I'm in full control of the things I can control, and I'm not letting substances run my life. So be encouraged that if you want to stop drinking caffeine, you totally can do it. Yes, it'll be hard. Yes, it will be challenging. There will be days where you don't even understand why you're doing this. Keep going. There will be times when you are out and you want to go back to your old ways. Keep going. There will be times when you truly don't know what's on the other side. And this sounds crazy to talk about drinking coffee and tea that way, but keep going. If you're having a challenging time getting rid of it, let that encourage you to push through the stronghold and the grip that caffeine has on your life. Now, if you like caffeine and you want to keep doing it, do you. But I'm talking to the person who's trying to get off and having a challenging time. So I've gotten a lot of comments over the past 2 years of people sharing their stories, and it's really sad to see how much that substance has a grip on people, and I was one of them. So be encouraged to move past it. You can do it. And no matter how many shops are up on the street and how many people have it, you are in control of what you put in your mouth and what you put in your body. And you can be countercultural. You can go to Target and not have a drink. You can go for a walk and not have a mug. Trust me, when I see people and I see the little vibes I used to be a part of, there's a part of me inside sometimes that's like, man, I remember those days. But then what do? I keep going because I'm not going back there. I'm going forward. So I hope that it inspires you to know that even if you leave a little crack for any sort of addiction, it can over time bust the door open. So close the door. For me, I'm not doing tea. I'm not doing coffee. I'm done. And it's crazy to say that, and a lot of people don't get to that point, but it's really, really, really not worth it. Trust me, the drinks are good. It's tasty. It's enjoyable. These things are created to be that way. A major fruit of the spirit is self-control. So no matter how enticing things on this earth and in this world are, I can walk and I will walk in self-control. That is a fruit of the spirit, and then that's what I want to possess. That's what I want to display, you know? So if there's anything that has a grip on you, you have the power and the authority to overcome it, despite what everybody around you is doing. You can set your own path. You can go your own way, even if it's countercultural and even if it's hard. So yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I'm happy I was able to give y'all an update. I don't know if I'll do another update because there's really nothing else to say at this point. Y'all, this lighting has been crazy, but if you made it to the end of the video, thanks for sticking with me. If you have any questions, please be sure to comment them down below, and just know that you can overcome this. It's just a little chapter in your story, but you can overcome this. And if you have already, congratulations to you, because you did something that is very, very hard to do. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing y'all in my next video. Bye.